I am a retired financial services professional.
Okay.
However, I have a risk management business. I have a pretty big client where I build operational risk frameworks. So I'm doing one for a large healthcare company as we speak. But then I also have a sports management company called Boothe Global Sports, and we do large basketball events throughout the Mid Atlantic. We just did one down in Charlotte, North Carolina. I guess that could be considered the South, but we do them in Virginia, Maryland, DC, and they're AAU type events, boys and girls basketball for pretty more advanced teams, fifth grade up to 12th grade. There's really nothing I haven't done in basketball. So for me to be able to now take all of that experience and all of that knowledge and transfer it to sort of the scholarly world and be able to provide influence and insight based on research, based on just my studies and my experience, and leave a mark, hopefully a good mark or a great footprint in the sports business. Quite frankly, being a minority student, sports management is a huge subject area for minority students
Right.
because they have a close affiliation with sports, as well as it provides an opportunity to kind of see what's going on behind the scenes in sports.
Right.
So that to me resonates. So when I achieve my doctoral certifications, then I'll be able to, hopefully, be respected in the room, if you will. I love the fact that once I write my piece, whether it's in discussion or there's a paper, that I get very lengthy responses from the professors, whereby that's where I get my education, how
Right.
you articulate your thoughts, but they also provide how they think about the same subject matter as well. So to me, that's a great discussion of back and forth. I really enjoy that. The attention to me as a student has been there, and that's very important, and I enjoy that. Started going to Brooklyn, my hometown, Brooklyn, New York, and I started filming the things that were influential to me that I've touched, I've seen from the age of 12 years old all the way through my early 20s until I got out of college. And in that experience, what I've come to really understand through the process was there was, some very influential men that actually saved our lives. We were in a community in Brooklyn where there was a lot of poverty. There was a lot of drugs. You had the heroin epidemic, and then eventually it became the crack epidemic. You had racism, huge racism based on desegregation busing. So with that said, we filmed over 140 hours of film, 120 interviews, and with that, there was this one central character, a gentleman by the name of Lester Roberts, who we deemed as the godfather of basketball because he was an innovator, a creator. He was a distinguished gentleman, and he created things that eventually impacted all of us. And we are all he's like the top of the tree, and we all kind of fell in. And then eventually, I wind up doing, as I moved to Virginia, I started doing the things that he created. So I became a mini Lester Roberts without my knowing. This is all unconsciously. I didn't know. And there's some correlations throughout the whole film. But the thing is, there's a lot of discovery. And then once you say, okay, these 6 individuals, we say they saved our lives, which they did. I mean, I'm here, I'm existing. But the great part of it is we created a history in the NBA of 32 NBA basketball players who went to high school in Brooklyn and actually played in the NBA during that 10-year span. So I felt the need to tell the story before my generation of folks leave the planet. And we now have that cemented in history. It's a drill that is used metaphorically, but also is the first drill that I learned from Lester Roberts at 12 years old. And I eventually use that drill in every practice. It's the first thing I teach my kids. every season, ball side middle, which is a glorified 3-man weave. And so metaphorically, we said, okay, when you get the ball, you take control of your life. The ball is life. The ball is always going to be there with you, and you are to nourish and protect the ball. Then you push the ball to the side because there are many obstacles in your way in the middle of the court. So by pushing the ball to the side, you're moving those obstacles away from the middle, and the side, metaphorically, is your coaches, your community leaders, your parents, people in the neighborhoods that basically protected you. If you were a basketball player in Brooklyn, New York in those days, the bad guys wouldn't allow you to go down the wrong path because they'd seen that you had a promise, you had a future. So that was the side. Now the goal is to get the ball back into the middle. Once you cleared that side, get it into the middle. So now you can drive it home, but you now have perspective. You can see both the left and the right side of the court. You have perspective, which gives you better choices in life. And then also, when you drive it at home, it becomes a part of your DNA. It is something that you do every day in your life. You use your basketball experience, you use your perspective, you use your lens and seeing what the world is like to be able to make choices so you can survive. So that's the metaphor that we use for ball side middle, which is the Lester Roberts drill. I think this is the best decision for me. I think that this would be a positive experience and hopefully a long-term relationship beyond graduating.
Yeah.
Because everybody I've met have been super, super, super nice, super cool, super supportive.